Good morning, everybody. I'm going to get myself a coffee. If you cannot hear me, I better type this. If you can't hear me or music, please let me know. It was again problematic and I thought I fixed it, but you are going to be the judge. So, all right, let's start with some music and I'll see you in a bit. Hello, hello. Good thing everybody's hearing me. Hi. Sunny day here as well. 9 degrees Celsius. I think it's about the same here. And Tiger is complaining. It was weird. It was 13 when I woke up and it went down to 9. I need to change my spark plugs. My car is not working properly. So getting to the stage that my car is going to the spa, as my car calls it, every 2 weeks. And mommy cannot afford those spa fees. How is everybody? Hello, hello. Good morning. Lynn was here first. Bonjour, Lynn. Ça va bien? Barbie, hello Barbie. We still have to get you. Oh my gosh, Barbie, I need to send you a link so you can join our thing. Actually, what's her name? What's her name? Kylie. Oh, Kylie's here. Kylie, would you be able to send Barbie just that link for the group so she hopefully can just click on it, because I tried to add her in my thingy and she still couldn't join it. We have lots of like 2 air signs. We have lots of issues with YouTube. What's up? Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Is it? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello? What happened? Can you hear me now? I think I fixed it. Okay. So let me just ask you. I'm not so sure why the program just shortens the sound, but on my end it's showing me that is working. So if you guys can just confirm, because I see this moving. Just going to put it a little bit down. You tell me if you need it more or if you need less. It's coming from the webcam, so it's not high quality, but at least we have sound. At least there is something. No sound? Knitting Yogi says yes. Okay. So, Kylie, you're not hearing me? Look, I'm seeing some text. It should be. It's a different one. Oh my goodness. I have to figure out. Sound. Okay, I can see it. All right. So, as long as it is. So, guys, what I was saying is that the link that Kylie provided is the link for the mods, not only for Barbie. And sorry about the sound. This is like weird, right? But volume is very good today. Oh, that's very good because I actually increased it. So I just finally found a way how to do it. So going through all of that stuff. So if you click on that link that Kylie sent, I can. Is this the whole one over there? If you Kylie can send it again. Thank you. Hello, I'm welcoming my friend Carolyn. She's somewhere there. She's actually my real friend from the real life, believe it or not, and we have Gemini online. So if you click on that link, guys, this is our tarot group. It's not discussing only tarot. We're discussing beautiful pictures because Kylie is in Australia, Yogi is in Maine, I am in Canada. Who else is there? Is there somebody else? Oh yeah, Barbie, we are inviting you. So feel free to join. But as I said, please be aware that you might get lots of notifications. Kylie got one morning, oh my gosh, I got 300 of them. So in your settings, you can cut off notifications so you're not going to be notified every single second about it. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to start soon. We are starting. Oh, I'm getting again no sound, guys. You're having no sound again? What? I'm just getting the latest things here. No sound, no sound. Oh, guys, can you just tell me yes one more time that you have sound, because I'm still getting texts on my end, no sound. So I would just want to make sure before I move forward. I'm going to check on my end. On my end, it's telling me that everything works. So just need your confirmation. Maybe you'll hear what I'm asking. Is there sound? If it isn't, then oh, okay, you can hear me. All right. So Aries is first, and this is the name of the game. So this is the next one that I'm going to read while I'm reading Aries. If Aries is not your thing, you can start guessing which one is this. So also for all of you guys who are here today, you don't have to wait only for your reading, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant. Every single sign might carry messages for you. So let's start. Let's move into the action. So this is the next one that you can guess. And I'm going. It's going to be a little bit longer today because they're monthlies. So let me just put the timestamp for Aries, and I put their things. So I have mods always to remind me if I didn't put either the little fluffy sign or anything else, so we can actually the people can actually really easily find their reading later when they're looking at it. All right, so we are having first guesses. Let's start. Aries, what's going to be happening with you, Aries people, in April? What can you expect? What can you expect? Okay, you have Ace of Cups. What else? Oh, you have the World, and you have Queen of Pentacles. So it's going to be something financially rewarding. You might be coming into money over here. It's kind of like fulfillment of something that you wished. It's really interesting. So if this is you guys, the Queen of Pentacles, that means you're really enjoying all the fruits of the labor that you have done for a while. As you know, Pentacles are not moving really fast. They're sort of like a slow, very methodical kind of like energy. So what I would advise here is, if you are male, for example, then I would say that a female or a wife or somebody of great significance, somebody who you're putting on a pedestal, will feel really secure and satisfied this month. It's really interesting that the world is coming through here, which is kind of like something is coming to finality in a good way. Something is kind of like being resolved. So we will see how that really, really works. Who has a birthday here? Kylie, is there a dot after the word chat? Oh, sorry, dot. You just have to click on the link, Barbie, I think, if that you're honeymoon. Huh. So honeymoon is a period of a big hope. As much as this word sounds like very loving and promising, I have never seen that card in that way. So I have to really put a little bit fly in your ointment over here, my dear Aries. It says, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So what is the holiday coming up? We are talking probably about Easter. I mean, at least in the Western civilization, most of the countries have that. I think it's in the middle of April. But to me, honeymoon always talks about the segment of our life where we are idolizing everything. It is a new beginning of a sort, and it is a new beginning that we are entering with great enthusiasm, because you have to at least enter on a high, on a trust. It, however, has that pink rose-colored glasses to it. So something beware if you are. It could be a new relationship for you guys as well, and that you're looking at this new beginning or this new start, because keep in mind in this like world card, what is really happening here is, like, as you can see, we have two circles, like two basically technically should be snakes biting their own tail. So it's a kind of regeneration of a sort, right? And so there's like this fulfillment that the milk cup is full and now it's empty. It's almost like the hourglass, and I don't know if you even look at closer, you can see the drops are starting to kind of like do it. So it's a new start. Something has been flipped over. We are going new directions. So you can upgrade whatever the lessons you had. You can learn it from that point. But you are entering a new cycle of your own life. And that cycle for you represents financial security or feeling free, but it's also representing something that is beginning in love of some sort. But also be very, very careful, as I said, about this honeymoon. So I'm going to get a few gypsies cards over here. That's the problem, Barbie. Hello, CBO Music. Of course, if you don't download the thing, it's not going to work. That's the problem. Oh, Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Ah, oh, Chris is here, didn't even see you. So what we have here is Messenger, reversed. Did anything else flick for some reason? Oh, it did. And then we have Scholar, and then we have Wedding. Now, again, honeymoon, wedding, right? Like you, and this is like where the trickiness of interpretation kicks in, because on the surface you would say, oh, you know, I'm getting married. But in fact, this particular card, wedding, is not really talking about that proverbial, oh, you know, let's fall in love, let's do it. It talks about really going over contract. This wedding, back then when they created these cards, was basically a contractual obligation of what has to be done. So you're kind of like either renegotiating parts of your arrangements, whatever these arrangements are. Those relationships are maybe business relationships, but those relationships could be with your partner, husband, wife, whatever it is. So the wedding is basically talking about something important, but it's also talking about new responsibilities, unions. But this can also talk about the loss of independence. So that's where those kind of like fine print kicks in. So we have these cards, 1, 2, 3, and even 4, for you representing partnerships. And I'm focusing so far on the positive. I'm going to get to these two. And I really have to tell you that it could be something that is being finalized of some sort. Maybe negotiations are coming to an end of a sort. But it's in any case, this suggests being true and everything. But when we have a true, so let's say you have a clean cup, and then just before this clean cup, you get these two cards that are reversed. One is messenger, it's reversing. So is it a lack of messaging? Is it lack of transparency? And then you have a scholar. And scholar, because I said this is about negotiation, this is about looking at the fine print. And scholar could represent that lawyer. It could represent somebody really telling you what's the matter that you need to know. So now this is pouring into this clean thing. Be really sure that you really check into everything, right? This can literally come to your door. This is going to be something that is going to be delivered really to your doorstep, or is going to be inside of your home. And I would say it could be either a bad message or something that is not coming that you want to receive. This is generally not a result due to your own thing, right? This is generally, I would say, indication that maybe the one who should be delivering that message is stalling of some sort. There's like something that you really anticipate. You're all set, you're ready to run. Like it's almost like waiting in a car, waiting out for somebody, and that somebody doesn't arrive. That's kind of like what this describes me over here. It can also mean that, you know, like there is a possibility of some bad news, sorry to say, but also that this is kind of delayed and this is still not coming of a sort. So this card can talk about postman. It can talk about email, because that's a new postman if you wish, right? It can also talk about a mediator as well. And it's really, really important. And generally it relates to the end of the month. So I guess it can be like, 21st to 31st of April that we are talking about. And scholar is basically, as I said, kind of like looking for the information, looking for something that really needs to kind of like be found by somebody who actually studied that. It's really interesting as well, because that card, when it reverses, it talks about the lack of preparation or some kind of failure. It can also represent lack of consideration. So if you're heading into union, if you want to get married, did you check everything that you want or about this contract? Because there is like something that can be seen as illogical or a nonsense, or somebody's going to be very, let's say, uncivilized or rude. And so be very careful, because it's combining with another, let's say, negative cards over here. So if you're not well prepared for the situation, so be prepared. Something may end up that somebody else benefits out of the situation than you do. So well, Aries, otherwise, like, you're really posed for growth, with that little caveat that you need to kind of like take in mind. So let's see. Hello, Shika. So let me see. Did we had guesses? I think we had Virgo, and we had, I have to scroll back to see which other one. Is anybody else guessing too? Which sign is going to go next? Come on, let's see. Let's see. I have to remove it here. I have their Aries, and see who goes next. I have to keep switching between the windows, between the programs. And let me see, nobody else is throwing their hat in. So we had Virgo, we had Leo, and that's it so far. Nothing else. Oh, we have Scorpio and Leo. Okay. And we got Taurus. Okay, so Taurus is next. No winners this round, but guys, keep faith. It's going to be more. Ooh, Chris says Aqua. Okay, so this is going to be for the next round. You can keep guessing. So let's start with Taurus, my dear Taurus. Let's see what's going to happen in your world. See how tough it is to kind of like predict even a sign, never mind everything else. Let me put the Taurus little pretty sign over here, and let's continue. So my dear Taurus, Thanks, Carly, for explaining. And thank you all mods for being here, for helping out. Appreciate it. Oops, Taurus, we do have the cards. Oh my god. Oh my god. Taurus. Something massive and something major will be happening. Do we have any Tauruses here in the house? Or Taurus rising or Taurus moon? Because, oh my god, look at this. We have the Tower, we have the Hangman, and we have the High Priestess. Poof! I don't know really where to start with this one. The Tower, it's the change. It's a big shift that is forced down on you. Tower really affects all people equally. It doesn't matter, like, I mean, where you are, meaning, like, you cannot even shelter yourself with money or with better system. This is just simply a shift in consciousness. So this would be Me Too movement. This would be flat tire. This would be, bad weather. This is kind of like that kind of like effect it really has on us. So something here is really happening that you did not want to correct yourself. Oh, there is a Chris. So Chris, hello. There's something that might just explode in your face, and it needs to be dealt with. And how? At least we have what needs to be done. Pretty much with silence. And not with passive-aggressive silence, but with silence where we are absorbing the situation and learning from it. So we have our way of doing things, and somebody else has different way, which we don't like, we don't appreciate, and then something explodes in our face, and we are basically told to go along with the flow and learn as much as we can about their own system, about how they go about it, right? Because the Hangman talks about the situation. I don't know if you can see the card closer. The kitty cat, and for all of us who love cats, we know this is very common. When I was ordering blinds for the house, I wanted to get these pretty zebra blinds where you can kind of like diffuse them or more or less light. And the guy came in to measure, and he goes, oh, are you sure you want zebra blinds? I said, wow, why? And he goes, because these little creatures, they would like to climb because they have enough holes to climb. And he said, there's going to be disaster in a month and less, and you're going to spend so much money. So now the kitty cat is coming in an inverse position where, things look different. The perspective is changing. The cards have fallen. Something is swept under the rug, right? So the rodents rule over here. So it just looks really awkward. It's not the situation that we really like. It's not how we really want to deal with. So it's really talking about us being able to open up. If you have, I don't know, rigid is extreme word, I would say, but if you have a personality that is not really easily adaptable, that you cannot kind of like access those different changes coming through, this might be a little bit more difficult, right? So basically what is happening in Hangman, let's say the husband cheated, right? And so you're giving the husband, like, silent treatment. So that's passive aggressive. So this is not what this is talking about. And let's say you don't want to deal with husband, but now you're placed in a position. So that could be finding some information that is really impacting your life. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying this is happening, but it could be one of the possibilities. And here you're saying, no way, Jose, that I'll be sticking around. I'm out of the gate. But then it starts kicking in you. Hey, I have children. We have all of these things together. It's not going to be as easy. And then you're being forced to be in a position where you're going through, let's say, mediation. You're going through the things. And you're like learning that you have actually unwillingly contributed to the situation. And even though what they did was not basically nice, or it's not something that's easily to work with, you're realizing through observation and through listening that, you know what, I do have my own kind of like fingers in it. And so here it is coming to that wisdom stage, and wisdom is pretty much silence. You will know intuitively what action and what things needs to happen over here. So Taurus, I don't know what to say. Oh, release your ex. Like I'm telling you, tarot never lies. It says the time has come to clear your energy. This is really interesting because if you really read the booklet, this particular card says, write everything that you don't want. And I tried it with my clients before, and it's not how it works. Like if you write everything in a negative form, it becomes positive, it starts to happen. I don't want him to cheat, doesn't work. So I always suggested, like, just put the top sentence, I don't want, then column, cheaters, blah blah blah, or I want to release this, right? But everything has to be written positively except the very first sentence. Then during the full moon, you simply burn it. You cannot take a picture of it because, again, it's staying with you, so you just need to release it. And every single full moon thereafter, as long as this is all not gone. So release your ex really talks about whether or not this ex is still in the picture or not, because there's still consequences to the energy. This is still kind of like mingled out energy. So there's like something, so we are with a partner, we are arguing with his partner, and we are focusing on the partner, but truth is that we have been burned like 3 partners ago, and now this is all accumulating and it's burning us in that particular way. Let me just see. I mean, generally this is not much the gypsy cards can really add to it, because there are major arcanas. When major arcanas occur, guys, this is it. These are orders from the boss. You better do it, otherwise you're going to be the leaf in the wind kind of a thing. So the destiny is really, really calling and going with that. So you have haughtiness, we have a peacock reversed. You have a peacock reversed, you have despair reversed, and then you have a surprise reversed. So something that is really happening, it has no surprise in it. Like there is a situation that involves a narcissist, that involves somebody who is manipulating situation by saying a whole bunch of things, including, hey, you know what, without you I don't want to live, I'm going to commit suicide, making you guilty, making you interact as well. And it also could involve a financial loss, and hence, because of all these reasons and all these layers, somebody is preventing somebody else of proceeding in the direction that they want. And now this actually starts to make even more sense, because you feel you're in a situation that you're in some kind of suspension. So again, it also makes sense that it will make lots of sense that you learn about, quote unquote, your enemy. You learn about the other side as much as possible by trying to understand how they really play the game in order to kind of like move it forward. So ultimately you want to release somebody from your life. That's how it looks like. And it looks like you want to release somebody because of the bad attitude and because of the consequences of their action that affected you. But you cannot do it as a band-aid rip, kind of like a quick rip off. You have to go through stages where you have to take all the other elements in place, and you can only figure this out by really realizing how the brain works and kind of going in this direction. So Taurus, it's going to be a really interesting month for you. I have Taurus in my life, Tauruses in my life. I'll be really observing closely. And Taurus, I find like it's one of the signs that I believe is the least in tarot, and the tarot helps them the most, which is really, really bizarre, kind of like how to look at it. So I don't know, Chris, anything to add over here? What's going on? Because you have Taurus rising, so it will be interesting. So Lorna says, on the full moon, I make a list of things that I want to release that no longer serve my highest good, and then I burn it. But like what I would suggest, that's good. I would suggest that you start with a sentence, this full moon, I'm releasing this, and then column. And then you just make a list instead of like, I don't want this, I don't want this, because if I don't want, so for example, if I tell you guys, I don't want you to imagine a pink elephant, what did you imagine? You see, like that's how the brain works. And that's very, very important to kind of like take in account. All right, so let's remove Taurus and let's see what is the next one here. We are having Cancer. Oh, your daughter is a Taurus. Okay. We have a Gemini. We don't have anybody to release from my life. Do have some to release from my energy. So, okay, so this is even easier trying to understand. That's the level of maturity where you are analyzing, okay, you know what, I wish this didn't go wrong, but these are still leftovers of the energy. Let's have the psychic surgery and remove it. Virgo, Capricorn, let me see. Let me see. I cannot even tell. Cannot even tell. Ooh, did we have Scorpio? I don't think we had Scorpio this time around. Scorpio. It's really interesting because for a while we didn't have Scorpio quote unquote dominating the reading. It was almost for years the Scorpio was whoa, and I'm challenging. It's kind of weird. I just last night I was this is going to be the next one. Last night I wanted to just relax a little bit, so I went on YouTube and I watched National Geographic Challenger Deep Mariana Trench. And I was just really thinking about Scorpio falling down. And it was really interesting showing how it's plastic and a whole bunch of stuff already ending over there on the bottom. So if it reached those levels, it's really, really interesting. So let's put a stand here for you, my dear Scorpio. Scorpio. I got new contact lenses, so I am still adjusting. It's a little bit stronger. It's a little bit stronger prescription than it was years ago. It first got better, now it got worse. So it's one of those multifocals where I having a both far and near in my eyes. So I need to deal with that because when I come closer, it's still really fuzzy. So we are having Scorpio, guys, right now. Oh, there it is. Your ascendant is Scorpio. So when you have ascendant or you have a moon sign Scorpio, guys, let me break it to you. You are Scorpio. This is such a strong sign that is like represented with Phoenix and stuff. So when you have these inner planets or, as I said, ascendant or a moon, then you really, really strongly are a Scorpio. So you have the Chariot reversed. So there is a reversal of some sort. And you have a 4 of Cups. And then you have a, it's kind of weird, the whole bundle here turned around, but I'm not taking bundle. And this would be the Page of Cups. So this here is really interesting. Are you maybe going back to the old lover? There's like some kind of like healing that is taking place, my dear Scorpio. It's really interesting that Chariot comes reversed because Chariot is a major arcana. We have the peacocks over here. We have one completely neutral and one is like in a full bloom, if you wish to put that terminology. So what is really happening over here? Chariot is ruling all knights in tarot. With that, it means I am the captain, I am the major in military major, if you wish, and I'm calling the strategy, and all of you basically deliver that strategy out there. So Chariot is also very single. Chariot tends to have introverted personality as well. But this came reversed. So instead of going in the field, I feel it's coming back. It's coming back, and there's like certain level of disillusionment. 4 of Cups talks about emotionally, and I don't know if you can see the kitty. It kind of like opened one eye, and it's kind of like squinting right through over here. So there is 4 cups, and just think about it. You're putting the 4 cups of milk to a kitty, and I don't know, I feel like it. So clearly you're wondering, hey, something wrong, what is wrong, kind of a thing. It's really telling me there is like some kind of like disturbance or dissatisfaction, especially when it comes to your love life. There is a relationship that you have, possibly currently, that you're feeling it can use a boost, right? So that's why we're seeing like, a Page of Cups showing up. And this really tells me that it's going to be some kind of flirting, it's going to be some kind of like revival, and this is actually very, very lovely over here that we kind of like deal with. So let me clarify here. Let me just get this one. Did I put the icon? I thought I put the icon for Scorpio. Venus and Scorpio. There you go. Venus is a close planet, so You are probably driven by sex and excitement, and that's kind of like technically what Scorpio looks on the surface. But since they're fixed sign, they're so much deeper than that, and most people never get to know that because Scorpio doesn't want to take, challenge or deep trip with them. It's just keeping that sex and not going lower. But Scorpio craves that experiences with people who are willing to take that leap with them, and it's really, really important, right? So it says healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So in psychology, we have something that is called primary abuser or patient zero. Generally, let's say parents will go and introduce their child as a problem child, and they want the child to be fixed. Here it is, I'm bringing this machine for repair, just fix it and bring it back to us. The truth is that maybe that wheel of that machine is acting up because of something else that happened before, and maybe this is just a symptom where the disease is somewhere completely differently. So something like that is coming to mind when I see this combination, where I feel that they're like deeper issues, my dear Scorpio, and I guess you probably know it. You thrive on it, but other people don't thrive on it. And maybe something here is affecting everybody, and maybe there's a finger pointed at one person, but the truth is there's like much more here that is really important, right? And it's kind of like, look, what is the problem? You're really good this way, Scorpio. Like this is something that I really admire in Scorpionic nature. Really looking even in themselves. Like, I mean, yes, I know I need to revive myself here, bring it on, kind of like a situation. And this is giving you a great opportunity. I have been doing such healing recently myself. I'm not a Scorpio, but I'm a fixed sign. Recently, I'm really studying my new shamanic deck, which I love, love, love. And ancestors keeps coming back to me always, always. So that it just told me I need to kind of like revive this connection with my past ancestors, because clearly there's like a connection they want to make, and I kind of cut them off. So when you cut them off, they are going to try to connect because they want to tell you something, and it's going to feel like you're getting problems in life where you are just not picking up the phone. So I started picking up the phone, and we'll see where this goes. All right, so let's see where we go there. Kylie, done quite a bit of purging. I enjoyed your messages, Kylie. Oh my gosh, like this lady is growing and going through the roof. So we have a scholar. Again, maybe you're going to go in the therapist chair. Look at that, scholar and a doctor. Yes, that's what it is. Some of you guys are maybe going in a therapy, or you're going into some kind of healing seminar of some sort that can actually help you further going. Also keep in mind, it's kind of weird, they have the doctor, they have the lawyer, they have scholar in all these decks. But back then, when they created this deck, it's very Sibylla in Italy, and I think 18th century Italy, all of these people, doctor, lawyers, they were all considered scholars, and you will go even to a lawyer for basically medical advice and so on and so forth, right? So there's like something, a need for emotional or even physical healing. I would also say that you're really affected with stress. It could be just simply that you kind of like lost interest in something, but it could be that you just need to revive your own energy. So once you become vibrant, everything starts to work a little bit better. So keep in mind, it could be people that come to mind here would be, I don't know, father, husband, grandfather, somebody who is serious and loyal and reliable. And that kind of person, so it's very kind of like a male that I see here, would really genuinely help. So seek advice for what is the best remedy. Don't do it on your own, because here you're going to get different perspectives, and that is actually going to really help you very, very much, my dear Scorpio. So let's see, CBO music, looking deeper. Yes, revival of relationships. And we are not in Mercury retrograde, which means there is like something, and that's kind of like really good of highly evolved people. where you see where you make mistakes, so you learn from it and you try to, I guess, apologize or at least somehow access, maybe just tap into that again. So let's go from there. Let's remove the Scorpio here. We will see. Any guesses what is next? Which sign is next? Let me remove Scorpio here. And let's see what you guys are saying. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. I also found a button that says kind of like the amount of delay. So the delay should be much smaller. I don't know if it is, but I hope it is. So guys, are you guessing which one is this? I'm going to get Pisces. I don't know why. It just came to me, but possibly wrong, just like coming group of people as well. Libra, we have one. Ooh. The coffee doesn't taste great. Virgo. I'm going to open it, and if I open it, we are going to have no more things. Gemini. Yes, you see, like I don't get it all the time, but when I get it, I get it. So we'll see Pisces. So I should give myself a reading. I'm going to do that later, and this is going to be the next one. So let's put a Pisces stamp here. Hello, Kathy. Long time no see. So glad to see you here again. Tell us, guys, tell me where you're from. Again, it would be nice to kind of like see the little kind of like world in the little chat. Where are you? Here you are. All right. Put a stamp, put everything. So let's do that. Pisces. I should get a reading on a Scorpio. We walked away from each other. She seemed angry, had a temper. Is it a Scorpio that you were very interested, Chris? I think this was like the only one that you were expressing. Ooh, kind of like interesting, because if you have this strong Scorpio and she does, clearly you both have this maybe a little destructive energy where like, I'm going to kill you first, where kind of like that protectiveness kind of like blocks the good connections. So that will be a probably good idea, right? So feel free to contact me. So Pisces. Kathy, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kathy. Happy birthday to you. Okay, nothing is, oh, here it is, the first, ooh, death reverse, talking about Scorpio. That's tough. This is something that is supposed to be dead, but it didn't die. So hence it's prolonging the pain for some reason. There is sense that there is like no structure here. It does belong 13, 1 and 3 is 4. It's closely related to the Emperor, and it's really important. Aries and Scorpio is the Tower. So that Tower, was it in Scorpio reading? I don't know which reading. That's basically what is this combination kind of like creating in her. So that's interesting. So guys, death. It's a really interesting concept, right? We all fear death. When we experience that, we are like in tremendous pain. And yet, if you really look at the nations around the world, different nations approach this differently. And just think about the Egyptians and preparing for the long journey. And it was the phases of burying the pharaoh, who did have the access to the upper world, and just simply kind of like sailing on his boat until he was just taken. And it was all kind of connecting to the natural phenomena of solstice and so on and so forth, which we just recently had. So this is like clearly a card that represents Scorpio. We have a Scorpio and we have a Cancer. So we have lots of water, literally all water in your reading. And you're already a water sign. So there is like something happening over here, because we are also going through transition of Aries, guys. And it's really interesting for me as well, because I have a coworker that is Pisces and I have a boss that is Pisces. And it's very difficult for me to It's very difficult for me to understand them, even though I'm cuspy as well. So this means that something had to die, and it didn't die, and it's just becoming more painful. So what is really good about Scorpio, what I was just talking about, is like they're able to challenge themselves, they're able to die and being reborn again. And when it's upright, this basically talks about that. You're putting something to the end and you're starting something else because something doesn't make sense anymore. But here there's a continuation with some kind of like, let's call it nonsense of a sort. And this nonsense is not serving. This nonsense is getting in a situation where people do suffer, and there's like a hope of some kind of unity. So this almost like looks like that somebody doesn't want to be part of it, and somebody's continuing with the union. Husband checks out, wife checks out, but the other one is still proclaiming their dying love, and it's starting to feel like really weird. So there is like this moving forward, moving on. There is like the commandment, there is like some kind of like decision that is kicking into place. For this I will need to have more gypsy cards to get a little bit more interpretation here, but this is really interesting. So we are having 7 and 2, 9 and 9 and 13. So we are talking 22. So it's not only 4, but it's 22. There are like some kind of really big and karmic messages that will be coming to play, because 22 is a master number and talks about the building and how things are going to be built. Because something that is stemming, that is in the core of it, it's rotten, right? And it's very important kind of a thing. So we have a soulmate over here, and this is a soulmate card as well. There's like some tremendous need that you have for connection, my dear Pisces. And I think that is going to be how you're going to determine and how basically your entire month is going to look like. Generally, a month after our birthdays are not the best months for us, because we have all this excitement and all this energy and this adrenaline rush going through this when sun is like sailing through our sign, and then you go, I'm tired, I want nobody, and you are interacting to what is comfortable, what is known for you, and which is that water, which is the immense emotion, and you're surrounding yourself with emotion. So let me just get Gypsy over here. Oh boy, Lorna, you have lots of that energy there as well. So you avoid areas as a rule. So then we have here, interestingly enough, consolation with this card, but it's reversed. It's like it's one of the best cards in this deck. Hey, something comes to you without expecting, and it's so freaking awesome, right? But then we also have love reversed here as well. Why is this reversing? So things are not coming easy to you. That's the one point over here that we really need to make, right? So constellation, if you really look at it, it has lots of elements. There's a ship, there's the angel, there's the money, there's the power. Over here, he's just sitting, watching, enjoying his morning coffee. Safi, do you want to come for a Kodak moment? Come on. Do you love us? Do you love us? You're not talking today? How come? Do you love Mama? Oh, what's happening today? There's like something like we just only have a tail as kind of like presence, but at least she did grace us with this. So in constellation, he's just sipping on his morning coffee, and all these things are happening to him. The money, the power, everything is being offered, right? So when it reverses, it's talking about the missed or a wasted opportunities here, right? So almost like literally the failure to receive consolation. So it suggests that the failure is due to the external forces, right? It's kind of like something that happened outside of you, but it's kind of like breaking over your back, if this kind of like makes sense, right? It could be just simply there is some kind of like disappointment or a lack of comfort, and maybe this kind of shows you just want to go into this equilibrium where everything was nice, everything was loving. And this is kind of like really Pisces personality, if you really think about it, right? Because then this love reversed also makes sense, right? This will be love, love, love. But love reversed it's almost like must come when it comes to Chariot. Chariot is not taking his family on the road. Like when you're going to the battle, you're not saying, hey kids, let's pack your suitcases, we are all going to Ukraine, kind of a thing. No, you're staying and I'm going, and actually everybody's trying to prevent you of going yourself. So when this reverses, it talks about the end of love, or end of love that is not mutual anymore. It's really volatile situation over here. Somebody is leaving where somebody else doesn't want that to happen, right? So it almost like looks like that one person has not much to offer, and that maybe what you're expecting is not there, right? It can also signify a period of some kind of like loneliness or even sadness, right? But having said that, they're like still there are strong positive cards here as well that can signify, you know, that maybe the period that you found yourself in some kind of funk is really ending. So what I see here is like almost like a up and down kind of like situation that is happening, that you're very changeable. You remember, like Pisces, the two signs going in all directions. So it's going to be really hard for you to make decision, and when you do make a decision, it's going to be based on who you like more. Not it's clearly not going to be like an air sign decision where what works for me, but it's going to be, hey, you know what, I like you better, I connect with you better, and this is kind of how it needs to go. So let me see your comments. My daughter's father was an Aries. We had lots of arguments. Well, Aries thrives on arguments. I have my brother who is Aries, and they think they know best. They think they can call you. I mean, my arguments with my brother, Mr. Aries, is like, kind of like, what makes you think you can call me and question what I do, which kind of like has nothing to do with you, because he almost like takes this like paternal kind of like a role, and it's a patriarchy that really kind of like rubs most women in 2022 the wrong way. But Aries is that proverbial testosterone, kind of like male or female. It's very interesting. They're just going after what they want. So it's really interesting. So Scorpio men are too intense. For me, like I always see Scorpio men as I know, silly. I don't have to say silly. I had this interesting fellow in my life. It was more or less it was exclusively over online and kind of a thing, flirting all the time for years, every day. So it was really almost I can say a relationship because of emotional involvement. But it just like it was intrigued. Of course I was intrigued, but I was also kind of like laughing at this whole thing. He would send me pictures of, I would just get a black picture and you can see just shadows. I said, what's up, sweetie? You didn't pay your electricity bill, kind of a thing. And he thought I'm going to go crazy, how sexy it is. And to me, I just process it completely differently. So yeah. So do I look at Chinese zodiac for matches? Need a dating site that matches based it? No, I don't. I just don't find it really works for me at all. At all. So yes, AJK, there was no sound at the beginning. I don't know, something happened. My microphone usually cracks on YouTube and I don't know why it is. It was fixed. Just continue. So who is next, guys? Put in your things. Love Aries, my alpha sister is one. Yes, she can be over the top, but I don't let it phase me. I guess this is how you deal with Aries. In the end, you just really need to know that you need to be a soldier yourself. So if you're like soft personality, you just need to find this backbone and just stand up to them, because actually they really enjoy it. They will try to kind of clash with you. My brother argued me when I told him that Canada has 36 million people. Okay, maybe that was back then. Now maybe it has 40. So, oh my gosh, no, would you mind if I just check it out? God, just knock yourself out, kind of a thing. And then when they find, hey, they learn something, they're almost grateful. So you just need to stand up to them, and when you do, they value you actually more, and that's kind of like really interesting. So you're rat. That's what I don't like, this Chinese thing. But they have more than that. They have annual, and then they have a little bit different than us. And this is all connecting to different sides of the world, compass directions, and it's also combining with feng shui, which I love and kind of like really really like. So yeah, Pussycat Nation, who is next? Who is next? I'm seeing lots of letters here, but I cannot also say what is this. I generally can't because they are so covered, and plus my contacts are making me look, and everything is very fuzzy, so I'm just seeing a strip over here, so that doesn't help. So we have a Virgo, we have Libra, Leo, and I'm going to open this. Ooh, we have Capricorn. How come, Chris, you're not throwing in Capricorn hat here at all? So I'm going to take the new one while we are doing Capricorn here. Let me put the stamp. Oops. You know, guys, that these kind of like mantles usually are longer, so don't blame me if we go over 2 hours today. So let's put a sign. Let's put Capricorn sign, and let's see what we have here for you. In the Vedic astrology, my ascendant is Virgo, and that's kind of like what threw me off. I have lots of Virgo. My Mercury is in Virgo, which means Virgo rules Mercury, that I can control communication coming through. But I just don't see myself as a Virgo, and that's why I was like, okay, I really don't have it. I don't have it a lot. I can see this injustice really getting to me and getting angry, observing personal or even like, I mean, any kind of injustice. But this is why I kind of like abandoned following those kind of like other threads, if you wish. So Capricorn, you have 9 of Wands. This one wants to come. Ooh. Yeah, you like Chris? Huh? Oh, you like Chris? You just like Chris? You didn't like the rest of us? What, yes? Do you like the rest of us? What is it? You just want boys? Really? Well, that's not fair. All these girls are such a nice girls and ladies and women. Can you love us too, please? Oh, that's better. That's better. Chris, you're still in bed. That's awesome. So we have here, like, it's interesting, like, look, we have somebody who's just waking up, and we have on the other side Kylie, who basically, I think you wake up also just in the middle of the night to be with us, which is freaking awesome, because I'm getting text from her in the morning, oh, I'm just going to sleep for a few hours to join in. So this is Capricorn. Interesting. 9 of Wands, it talks about persistence. It talks about somebody who knows that emotions are important, that you're putting one foot in front of another, that you need to kind of like go in a certain direction, right? But then this 5 of Pentacles, which, you know, to me could be one of the most uncomfortable cards, and I think to Capricorn this is like one of the worst cards they can get, because look, as lovely as it is that they are here for each other, they are for each other in really elements that are not favorable, right? I always see this card coming for the people who are involved in relationships that are not defined. So they can basically be involved with somebody who, let's say, is not free to be in a relationship, either legally or otherwise. You know, you have lots of people joining this, let's say, dating sites. Yeah, that's what I want. And then the person comes, real person, flesh and blood, and instead of building a relationship, it's again adhering to the dream or what you want, instead of trying to make the dream happen with a person. Well, of course, you cannot do it with everybody. But this talks about, to me, that there's like something going out of that mainframe programming. So there's like something that is a little bit out there, and Capricorn is usually not the one who will want something swinging off the chandelier kind of a thing. Maybe in the privacy of their home, but this is in a public kind of a thing, right? After all, they are represented with the devil and they're one of the most sexed sign of the zodiac. So poor Chris, he has a Scorpio and Capricorn. Oh la la. And then you have a Knight of Cups. There's like some romance that is not coming through. It just, there's no possibility of a sword here. It is showing. Having said that, while I think all three to some extent are negative or representing some kind of hardship, they're all talking about need for balance. Possibly this is just talking about that work and play or love and solitude are not in a space where they should be, and that actually needs to be really worked on, and that's really, really important. So that's cute, Kylie. So you have attractions. There is some kind of attraction, but for some reason it's not happening. Are you maybe getting afraid because the partner is attractive, but maybe he or she is in some kind of relationship or is in some kind of situation, and you're saying to yourself, been there, done that, not doing that again, kind of a thing, and it's really bothering you. So it is very possible that you're shying away from that situation, because I can see that this is just all tanking over here. So let me see this Knight of Cups and this Five of Pentacles. What other you do get love here. I don't know. Look at love and death. You see, I was just saying, like, I mean, how do I interpret this when this is telling me the end, this is telling me the beginning, and then right, I get the widower right after love. So maybe you're mourning something that has been. Maybe it was a hard time with somebody that you just decided it's just not worth it. It's just like out there. It was just too much energy, but the attraction and possible love was there. It says you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. And when you feel present, that's what this card tells me, the present makes you feel younger and more enthusiastic, and everything is possible. And generally we remember these kind of people, right? And it's not necessarily the people who change us. These are the people who do either a hug job on us, or who literally make us go through a paradigm shift. But this is rather the somebody who does that on a subtle emotional level, where we really feel that our life would actually be improved looking back if we took the door number 2, kind of a thing. So let me just get one more. And we have a Scholar. These are very 3 strong cards. So the love that was budding was just cut down of some sort. The widower is also somebody who has suffered quite a bit. So finally he's putting his gloves, he's putting his suit, he is finally emerging from his home and being able to face the world, right? So it's kind of like represents moving on, kind of like a card, right? It can also talk about regrets, love regrets, and looking into that deeper, kind of a thing, right? It's more positive when it's reversed, but unfortunately it isn't. So kind of like it can talk about feelings that come with loss or separation, or somebody being isolated, and that kind of like all comes to the same thing. It could be the end of love affair, or loss of a job, or I don't know, the failure in business, or even losing somebody, like wanting to have a conversation with somebody who you used to enjoy, and now that person is not there. So the person is still visiting this grave, so that person still didn't move on entirely, if you wish, right? So that card also, I guess it warns that one does not always appreciate the full value of something until it's lost, right? We all have been there. We all have these regrets once when we are out of relationship, and sometimes it pulls us back in, even though we are forgetting kind of like the things why we actually checked out. It always reminds me of Seinfeld, and Elaine had that boyfriend, recurring boyfriend. I don't even remember what his name was. So he wanted the children, she didn't want the children, and then they broke up because of that. So in the episode they kind of like again bump into each other, and it's a romance revived, And on the first day she goes, I still don't want children. He said, I still do. And that's it. It was really quickly kind of like, okay, so we better stay out in this kind of situation. So this is like some kind of like serious memory lane, serious regret going through it. And so all I would say that there is like a need to acknowledge something, either something about yourself, or that the loss is permanent, or kind of like sort of things like that, right? And that is going to allow you to open yourself up to new people. And maybe you can say from this person, I want to have these qualities that this person had in somebody else's, but these qualities are just a no-go for me, so I kind of like have to move on from here and try to find somebody who maybe better fit my character and my world. And that is really, really important. Well, Leading Yogi, all the best to you. Happy graduation. And so let's see if she votes Virgo next, so we can open while she's here. But no, it is Sagittarius. So have fun, and we'll talk to you soon. Contact us, tell us how it was. So we have Sagittarius, and then we are going to have Doors. Barbie is a master moderator. She is going to basically explain to you as we go. It's going to be the next one. Let me just put the thingies here. Sorry, I didn't ask you. You guys had all the time to put it in, so I don't think anybody won at this stage. So Capricorn off. Where is Sagittarius? Is right next to it. So how do you find this like mic? Does it feel okay, or feels a little bit kind of like narrow, metallic? I just want to know, because I'm always afraid when I'm not using my professional microphone that is not going to be the greatest. So let's keep this in mind. So Saggies, okay, 1, 11, 11. This is going to be your timestamp, interestingly enough. Let me just have a sip of coffee. I think I need, I think the cream turned sour. That's why it feels weird. So, Sagittarius. Let's see. Are we able to do doors today? We are able to do doors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after this, we are doing the doors. Yeah, we will absolutely do the doors. So that way you guys can have your own questions. So you have 9 of Pentacles. There is like some kind of like, everybody leave me alone. This is like a main treatment for myself. I just want to enjoy myself. And you have a Knight of Pentacles. This talks about friendships. It talks about maybe things moving slow, but it talks about exploration of kind of like different concepts and different people, which is really, really important. Oh, Kylie, glad to hear that. But then we have 7 of Swords. Why would everything be perfect if something can poop on this reading? So it is telling you that who are Sagittarians? Sagittarians are people who have this proverbial arrow, which means to me they're always trying to hit new goals. They're very goal oriented. They're very eloquent. They kind of like go to where no man has gone before, kind of a thing. Sagittarians also have this ability to kind of like, with that ability, they like people from different countries. They like trying different things, and sometimes like that moderation is key. When you go too much, like, I mean, you can be seen as too much and never happy and devil's advocate. So this can simply represent that you have to be careful with a new friend or something, because somebody's not able to take that extra in this kind of situation. Again, good news is like no majors, so whatever you're doing, it's easy. It looks like the entire month is going to be dedication to yourself. 9 of Pentacles is, to me, one of the best cards. Why? Because it shows that we know who we are happy with who we are, and we really want to kind of like, enjoy what we have. So whatever this is, you have a little nook with your papasan chair, and you want to curl in there and just have your, like, I mean, hot chocolate and read a book or just listen to the music, and this is creating joy to you. Just do it, because it's going to feed in that self-confidence, in that self-esteem, right? And then you're going to kind of like open the crack open and allow somebody else to join you, and even in the same chair, and somebody very, very different. So this is where things happen, because the energy now shifts. Seven of Swords is the energy that talks about somebody taking something away. So it could be that you're opening up to this person and somebody just grabs things. Somebody is not realizing like the generosity and everything that you offer, and instead they just like think they can snatch things from you. So be very careful, kind of like of the Trojan horse type of situation. So it's very important here to recognize that, especially if this is somebody completely new, and especially if you're bringing somebody to your private space. And even here it says, let your friends help you. This card comes out so rarely. Ask for and accept support from others. But then who gets screwed here? Because somebody gets screwed here for sure. So let me see what this comes through as. What this comes through. So we have hope reversed. This one wants to come out. We have sights, which is almost like a hope. You know, she's holding the letter or the phone. She's sad. The rose is down, and she is leaning on the bench, which to me represents she needs some support. It's a loss. Somebody is leaving. There is something that is hopeless. And one more, it's love. It's all about love. I guess Sagittarians, it's kind of weird, because this card is always to me the card that you need to be at if you want to have a good relationship. Many people see this card, oh, you know, you don't want to be alone. Well, heck, if you don't know how to be alone, how can you be in a relationship? Because many marriages are tanking because people feel alone, very alone in a marriage. So this is the card where you need to acknowledge yourself, your authenticity, who you are, how you go about things, right? And this is kind of like merging together. It's almost like you're moving very slowly. This can also represent the triggers that you have, maybe from the past. And those triggers are that certain things are hopeless, that somebody, and maybe this is the problem, maybe you fall in love with somebody, as I said, who is not from your area, and the person has to leave, and it kind of leaves you empty because you invested so much, but you just even didn't think about it, because Sagittarians are those proverbial children. They always stay in the moment, right? Which is absolutely lovely, but reality is, for some people, they are kind of like mobile and going in different directions. So this simply can talk about there is a foreigner of some sort. It doesn't have to be that they took something away from you. It can simply mean that there's like something that is not doable in this 3D world. Well, at least not at this time. So sorry to see the Sagittarius, but this is your karma, right? So, you know, I'm Aquarius. Our karma is like that we always have to move on, that we don't belong to one person, which kind of sucks, right? You cannot do it. So at least for you, it's only one person. Look on the positive way. So we are going into the doors next. Doors means you ask your own question, guys. And I'm going to give you yes or no answer. You need to know that yes or no answers are the least accurate because of the energies that go into it. But it is what it is. At least it's something, right? So let me just put here a stamp, and then I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cover this so we can. Where is my thingy here? Is it this one? Yeah, let's try with this one. So guys, think of your question, and think if you want a left card, center card, or the right card. Barbie is usually good in explaining this, and focus on your question, and you can say which one you got, and if you want, because you're on live, you can ask if you feel free to kind of give us the idea what was your question. I can even clarify it for you. If you don't feel comfortable, that's okay too. So let's see, 1, 2, and 3. I am going to reveal. What did I do? I didn't reveal it. I just added something else instead. So this is door number 1, door number 2, and this is door number 3. I'm just seeing this is not 2 seconds delay as I thought I set it up. It's still delayed. Oh, did I remove it here? Just see it. I think I did. Yeah, I did. It's just like it's still playing delay on me. So let's go with the door number 1. When you are getting the moon reversed, look at that lobster. This is the lobster, the only kind of solution to the situation, and he's caught. I mean, I always see lobsters as spiders, right? The sea spiders, that's why they are so big. So the situation is riddled with jealousy. The situation is riddled with murkiness, and it's not going to be successful. The answer is a no. And the answer is no because emotionally people are not ready to go in that situation. So it's not all lost, but I think it's very important here for you to acknowledge that there is something in your family history or something of that kind that is actually really preventing this of moving forward. So it's very important. Okay, Barbie, you have the Empress reversed. So Empress, and she even did give us a question. I guess all of them are reversed, but some reverse cards could. What's up? What's up, Tiggy? He just came and gave me the look. I need to check something? I need to checky. Oh, I love his look. He has such a mature look on his face. So the Empress is somebody who benefits financially. So this is like the ultimate thing. So will I get close to or over my settlement amount? And the answer is unfortunately no. But the Empress is also about trying to kind of like put things really, really high. The Empress reversed can also mean throwing a little bit of a hissy fit. So in that sense, even though it could be negative, it could be beneficial for you, right? Throwing up a tantrum, now this is not enough, I want more, and sometimes people just kind of go with it. So that can be very important, right? So this deck, what is this deck called? It's called Dreaming Way Tarot. It has really beautiful illustration. Not necessarily giving all the elements that I would like to see in tarot, but it's a really different interpretation, and I like to use it occasionally simply because of this absolutely lovely images. So Lynn, so it's the same thing. Will I be promised? It's going to be a fight. You both ladies will have to put up the fight. And it's really interesting that we have 2 women checking 2, which was both financial. So the Empress both relates to air, which is Libra, and it also relates to Taurus. Sorry, because it's a Venus principle, it relates to yes, Taurus and home and money and kind of like accumulation as well, pregnancy if you wish, right? So something here that we're talking to is related to either 9 or 3. So it could be 9 days, 9 weeks, 3 days, 3 weeks, or it could be some number 9 or 3 that is going to be very significant in the situation. So promised last year, did not receive it, filed taxes. They said they would send it, but has not. So you need to throw a hissy fit. And that's what the Empress does. So this is just like somebody whose nail was chipped and simply that the entire self-esteem depended on it. So almost looks like that can be beneficial in this situation. And the number 3, Kylie, you're getting the Fool reversed. So the Fool reversed is, it's not going to be a new start, if that was the question. If the question was, should I go back to something, then the answer is yes. So this is where this card gets very, very tricky and kind of like going this direction. So interestingly enough, oh, not everything was negative. So these ones were positive. So just saw it happen in that direction. So we'll see. You have the next round of questioning that you can do. And let's go with this Barbie number 3. Well, Barbie, did you not say number 2? Number 2. What is number 3? Yeah, it's kind of like the Fool is weird, right? Like with Fool, you never know what's going to happen. Even if somebody decides to go in a new cycle, you really don't know if that street is going to end up anywhere, or it's going to end up in a murky kind of like corners with gangsters in there. And that's the whole trick with the Fool. So we'll see. Let's go next, guys. Now let's see, next round. Like, we so far didn't have anybody's personal reading, but keep trying. It's getting easier and easier. We have only 6 signs left in there, so let's do it. Which one do you think this is? Let's go with this. I'm going to have a sip of water in the meantime. Then we are down and have to try to drive to see if my spark plugs started to work, because yesterday somebody splashed me with a whole bunch of water and my car almost like drowned and started to like puff and a whole bunch of stuff, if nothing else. Oh, I was just grabbing 2 doors. Ah, that's cute. We have Aquarius, we have Libra. Anybody else? Anybody else? And we have Leo coming through. All right, the energy of Leo. Aries is a sister sign, so that should kind of like work out properly. And I still have the old message over there, so let me just put it here. Let's go with Leo. Da-da-da-dum, dum-dum. Okay, no more Sagittarius. So let's push it to Leo. And let's check it. And we already have one flying right through. Ooh, we have Judgment. We have Judgment. There's like something dealing, resolving. Ooh, we have the Stars in this case, and we have Ace of Cups. Huh. So 2 major arcanas, and these are 2 very important major arcanas. So it's upper major as well. So this can represent Scorpio, this can represent Aquarius, and this represents water signs or lovey-dovey or relationship, a beginning of some sort. This also represents hopefulness, but Judgment also talks about release of a sort, right? So this is like why it also represents very scorpionic thing. And I don't know if you can see it, the kid is looking out the balcony, but there's like, I mean, another complete ideal up in the stars. So Judgment technically talks about that you need to speak the truth. You need to be completely authentic in order for this kind of like to be put in motion, right? And that kind of like takes you to the stars, and stars is like really, to me, an important card, and this is why I love it so much, because it talks about that phoenix kind of like raising from the ashes, because it happens right after devastation, where many of us get stuck in that space, in the dark space, and it takes us time to start putting a foot in front of another. But the stars is really what activate us and makes us wish, makes us hope, and without hope we have nothing, kind of a thing. So it's very important, right? So with these 2 kind of like coming through, so we have 29 altogether, and 29 is kind of what comes down to 11. There is like some kind of healing that is coming through as an important, that whatever it is, the hope is important, that release is important, that love is important. So we really need to look in this kind of situations from different kind of like sides. So kind of like don't kind of like don't kind of like think, if you think that something is lost, because the Judgment also sometimes shows people, you know, this kind of like technically Gabriel coming. Is it Gabriel and collecting the souls and transferring the souls to God, right? So there is like some kind of like edge of a sort, and maybe it's a release of somebody or something, or it's somebody who needs to kind of like regain the sense of who they are, and kind of like take the different turn of what they did so far, which I think everything is really positive and everything looks like a positive direction and positive development. Sorry, I didn't take another card that you know, which I'm going to take for the next round. I'm just going to put it there. I'm going to do it here. Flirt. And this is flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. It almost looks like you're finding yourself again, my dear Leo. You're releasing something or somebody, or redefining something. So this is the Scorpionic principle, where you really, and it's a two. It's about the relationship. It is about that connection, and the connection has to be on a deeper level. So it's not something superficial. It's a major arcana. It talks about bigger involvement. So let me see what else we get here. 1, 2, 3. Reunion. It's not happening. It's reversed. But we have old woman. To me, this always talks about old lady, if you wish. It's reversed. So maybe there is a need to cut something off over here or discuss something. That can actually really bring success, because sometimes people play roles and one person is playing this role because of thinking, oh, the other person kind of like does this and would want that, but the other person does it because they think you do. So it's everybody's getting freaking confused in this entire situation over here, right? So, or you or somebody else wants to go back to let's say revive a relationship that has been, and there's like a big hope about it, and that kind of like shows really, really clearly over there. So when this kind of like somebody's reserved in a situation, so keep that in mind. So it can talk about some kind of postponement or conversation that is being delayed, right? Because this can talk about conversation about the old lady, or if you're this old lady doesn't necessarily need to mean old, kind of like ball and chain kind of a thing, right? It kind of like could mean that situation is not resolved yet, it's failed, and also the some kind of impediments, and those impediments could be in terms of travel, if you wish, or simply that clearly if somebody traveled to see you, to reunite with you, then this reconciliation is not going to happen, right? This is also about healing, and I don't know why healing, it's only 29, and 11s are always about healing. People who are born with the sign of 11 have to bring healing to the others, right? I'm 11, both in my name and in my birth date. So simply I cannot do anything that is selfish, because simply I'm going to be getting a whole bunch of consequences as a result of it. So you see, true. And but if I do kind of like that selfless thing for the others, then the things are supposed to come to me, which I think that was pretty much the way it is, even though it's kind of like really hard to do it. Leos, those who are born between the August 2nd and 7th, that is going to be particularly important, because I think you're not connecting with somebody from the past, because you're connecting with somebody in the present, and that's really, really important, right? So that is kind of like love and passion returning over here, and misunderstanding, or maybe giving way to new understanding, resolving a conflict, or even starting a new, let's say, partnership. It's all kind of like in the cards over here. So I really hope this helps over here, guys. So all right, guys, guess for the next one. Let's guess. I think I need to blow my nose, not to kind of like kill myself with this. Oh, where is my, I almost said toilet paper, not toilet paper. How about Kleenex, which was on the table and it isn't now. Where is it? unless Safi decides to play with it. You know, oh, here it is. No, it wasn't Safi. See how quick I was to blame on Safi? She's like, what? I am doing nothing. I'm just sitting in the window watching birds. Okay, so we have Libra here. Libra, we only have one. We have Virgo. And again, we see nothing, right? I'm going to remove the sign that we have here so we can put a new one. Libra, we have few. So, we have Cancer. Today it's really playing with us, isn't it? It's really kind of pushing us in direction. Kind of like we need to kind of, it's almost like a saying like, cat, just focus on the readings kind of a thing, right? So, what is it that I pull out? Cancer, I think. So, let me just put a stamp, 1, 30, 440, and put your little symbol here, my dear Cancers. Do we have any Cancers? Is anybody Caspi over here? Is anybody having ascendant, inner planets? Would be interesting. We don't have any Cancers coming up here, but we don't know if they read it later, which would be interesting. We have like very few people today, so that's also interesting. I probably should do a better job announcing these meetings. So we have 9 of Cups. Somebody's very happy. Somebody's enjoying a glass of wine. Somebody just wants to be left alone and living their own world. Ooh, for sure, for sure. And this one wants to come out. So, my dear Cancer, you are all into, look at this, 4 and 3, 7. And 7 goes back to the Chariot, and Chariot represents you in tarot, not Moon. But here, clearly, you kind of like are very hesitant involving yourself with the other people. Oh, I see Lorna H has Cancer in her Moon, and oh, that's a double whammy because Moon affects emotions. It's a feminine principle. So it's kind of like, I want to be on my own, I want to be in my garden, I want to enjoy this glass of wine, and then somebody comes who you generally like, and you're thinking, all you're thinking is like, oh, I so wish I had this moment for myself. And it's kind of like showing here that you're not really clear on directions you really want to take, and kind of like what do you want to do, right? Well, Chris, everybody gets along with Cancers because they're so freaking sexy, but it's really difficult if you need to push them into any direction because it takes forever for them to make a decision. But something is happening here for you, my dear Cancer. So the Empress is signifying new period of some sort. So Cancers are also very motherly types. It could simply mean that you'll be focusing on your kids, and that's going to be kind of like a main focus, kind of like nourishment of the people who are close to you, who are dear to you. So it's focused on the family and the friends. But this also could mean that you are putting yourself on a pedestal, or you are like basically claiming what is yours. But it also could mean that somebody else is putting you on the pedestal and literally seeing, and when somebody sees you as the Empress, they're literally seeing you as quote-unquote marriage material. I don't know if you guys watched the season 2 of Bridgerton, and I started on it last night, and it was really cute because that was a theme over there. Oh, she has to have the hips for bearing kids, she has to be well versed in kind of like almost like buying a book kind of like a thing. And where it was brought up, how about choosing somebody for its uniqueness. But here somebody is really literally looking for these qualities that you have and making a proper one, and which is really interesting because this one is ruled by Venus. So Venus does go back to love, but if you kind of break down that Venus is covered via Taurus and via Libra, so via Libra it expresses in fashion, it expresses in kind of like the outward things, where in Taurus it expresses in possession of very valuable, like say, paintings and pictures and something that will go inside of your home. So one is more internal and one is more external expression. But the 7 is almost telling me that there is emotion. Maybe you are ready for a new relationship. Maybe you're ready for becoming a mother or going to the next stage. This is really clear direction here that I see. And so if you jumped on the table, and can I do that? Oh, you were married to one for 27 years. So there it is, a soulmate of some sort. Maybe you gave up on a soulmate, my dear Cancer. Maybe something is finally now going to it. Well, my ex-husband was Cancer, and he was Cancer with Aries rising. So how is that for the combination? So Aries goes, yeah, I want to do that. And then 2 seconds later, no, I really don't want to do it. So let me try to see what barometer says. Is it raining or is it like scorching sunshine outside? It was really hard. So what do we have here? Let's get the gypsies to say. So we have melody. Maybe you have, they call it winter blues, maybe you have spring blues. Like, I mean, I know I have them usually throughout this period of year, depending where you are, where this is not a big deal. This can, however, represent COVID. It goes, but COVID in the terms of flu, nothing severe. It's not a card that indicates dying, I have to tell you. And then we have, I guess, joyfulness. And I think that's the problem here, actually, what I see here. And then we have a journey. Now I can see it clearly. This is the problem. You want things to come to you. You don't want to go to them. It's kind of like there is a laziness in the air. For you, you're really loving where you are. And if things come to you, you will work with it. But you're not going to be the one reaching out. So there is no energy for that. That's why the journey also goes backward. You will really willingly celebrate with these people coming through. Even though the first thought is going to be, oh, I wish I'm alone. It looks like you're going to get over it. So it almost looks like maybe you get sick or somebody gets sick. But mostly I think it's you. Something really mild, and somebody visits you to bring you chicken kind of like soup, and things actually really work out in a really good direction. There is possibility of meeting somebody or feeling being cherished, feeling being valued, and maybe it's somebody who is just in a friend zone right now, who is now becoming something else, and that kind of like grows. So that is very important, so to see that here. So I kind of like that. So I didn't take another one here. So how many do we have? We should have, oh, we still have it. So 5, so I guess it's 4 because Aries is still somewhere in the game, even though we read it. So which one, guys, do you guess is next? I don't have to do this reading, we are going faster, but I still would like to see that somebody guesses something. So guys, go, go, go. Tell me what you think. Which one is the next sign? Which one is the next sign? Your rising is Scorpio and Sun is Gemini. I know, that's very interesting, right? The Scorpio wants to focus on one thing and go very deep, become the specialist in one thing, and Gemini is like, no, it's kind of like all over the place kind of a thing, right? Okay, we have only one guess, which is Libra, but we are getting Aquarius over here. When the moon is in the 7th house. Did you watch this movie, The Hair? It was just something that I really liked. I like musicals. It's not for everybody, so, but if you like to do it, it was a commentary on the Vietnam War. And I like Miloš Forman as well. So I'm going to take a next one for the next round. So my dear Aquarius, let's see. There it is. This is our sign here. And let's see what is happening in April for us. Aquarius. Whoa, 10 of Pentacles. Some accolades, some money. Oof, King of Cups. Satisfaction, or somebody who is listening, somebody who takes care of it. That can be also Pisces. And this one wants to come through. It's 8 of Pentacles, which does mean that there are some details that are missed. Not a big deal, but it's really interesting. I guess none of that is our element. So this is again talking about ancestors and connecting with the family and with things that we need to do. For my birthday, I treat myself with that Ancestry DNA kit, which is ridiculously expensive. And I mean, I already knew mom is German, dad is Czech, that I should be somewhere there. And it was not a big surprise when I got 47% and 40% Germanic and 47% Slavic. It was basically a waste of money. But where it really didn't waste the money was it came up with a list of my relatives. Relatives I never heard of, that I would not know. That list is 3,800 people. So I did reach out to the closest ones. It tells you the first, second, third kind of a thing, right? But I didn't, of course, and I would not, because I have no time to speak with 3,800 people. But that is kind of like what is interesting, and that's what this card actually is pointing me out to, right? It is really a very, very multi-layered card. It can talk about wills, it can talk about generations, it can talk about younger and older family members, it can talk about health, it can talk about establishment, it can talk about all the buckets in your life that need filling, and everything seems to be at a full kind of like a thing, and things seem to be working. There's like somebody who is there for us. And it's really interesting. King of Cups is not necessarily a friend or boyfriend or a girlfriend we would want to have, because we generally like to merge with people who are very talkative, who exchange ideas. The King of Cups doesn't necessarily change, is part of that exchange, but is the person who, you know, is it the Rolling Stones? You will not get what you want, but you're going to get what you need. And to add to it, what you need might be exactly what you want. And that's kind of like what I see here. That this person is somebody who is letting us release things, who letting us talk and kind of like empty any negativity still stored, right? And maybe this is why this is released, because maybe we are too much of sticklers for the details, and this is kind of like getting in our way, because Aquarians tend to be overly analytical, and that can kind of like happen. So yes, Kylie, as Kylie mentioned, a recent conversation about family karma, and this is what it is, right? Like, I mean, in Game of Thrones, Lancasters always pays their debts. Kind of like you pride yourself with something from your family, but you never question what your family always do, because you need to start questioning things just to absorb the best of both worlds, because families do have their attitudes. I mean, even the criminal families have their own attitudes and their own set of morals. And I'm not saying this is the case here, quite the opposite. So this is going to be a good but slow month for Aries, for Aquarius. We will find a friend, or we will have a friend in someone who's maybe going to teach us that we are bogged down in the details, that we need to go back to seeing a big picture. And that's going to get very important. Oof, passion. Allow your heart and soul, and you see with my context, almost like read like school, but it's soul to sing with joy. And that clearly to me relates to this King of Cups. It's somebody putting this passion back into us, putting kind of like that ability to thrive back into us, and that is very, very important. Okay, so let's see a little bit add on over here. So guys, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, please ask you to like it. So we have a waiting, but it's reversed, so the waiting time is over. And then we have the wedding, so it's again about agreements, contracts. And then we have servant, it's reversed. And I think this can actually all relate to this last card, that there are like some details that need to be looked into that. So the waiting reversed is clearly saying time is up of some sort. Something needs to happen right now or else, right? It's really interesting because in the original deck, this Gypsy kind of like modified Vera Sibilla deck, you would have the woman with monocle, right? Not binoculars, a monocular, right? It's the long, almost telescope kind of style, but she would look back at herself. And that is kind of like where the card became intriguing, because you just take it to the face value. You think somebody's looking at a distance and looking where to go, but they really need to look into themselves, right? So in these three verses, it talks about maybe there's like something unnecessarily maybe waiting or doesn't happen, maybe even some kind of disillusionment of, I don't know, contract or relationship here if you wish. But because this card is also indicator of time and what happens in this time, like with these following two cards, it can kind of like suggest us to stop waiting, as I said, because something is pointless, and kind of like these details, no amount of details, like, because this talks about contracts, and usually when in the contracts you have, like they say, redefined print, but this is saying never mind, all of this stuff is just useless, don't even go in that direction, kind of a thing, right? So I don't know, if you're looking for a job, this might mean it's rejected. If you know, you kind of like want certain person to come, this might not, they might not come or return, right? It's kind of like one of those quote-unquote interruption cards that they call them, and clearly the suggestion is the waiting period has ended of a sort, right? It's really interesting because this can also talk about some anxiety, if you wish, because the servant is here, so there's like a little bit of expectation that certain things happen to us. So, and maybe this is a counselor or a friend, somebody who we actually really talking about the situation, right? So this can talk about a betrayal, guys, of trust, of an employee, somebody who's taking advantage, somebody who can be unproductive, or somebody who is lazy. So as much as this card is a support and help, right, but this person is actually working against us or against Aquarius. So be really fine-tuned that somebody might be coming like, hey, I'm helping you, but they're actually turning around. They're also, it could mean that Aquarius has to be willing to accept this help, right? Or maybe it's unwilling or unable to do that, and hence this self-care is not taking place, right? So I just want to warn that this can indicate a little bit of the uncomfortable situation or difficult times, because help is not necessarily available. And this entire situation, even though this is in April, I think it's not going to culminate in April. It's going to culminate in May of some sort. So kind of like, let's go in that direction. Hello, 123 Janess. How are you? Please tell us what sign you are, and tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you. Yeah, that was like a little bit different. So it's all good, and it needs to be kind of like take care of myself and take care of the long-term goals for Aquarians, but at the same time be careful of the people who are pretending to be friends, because it's really easy for Aquarius to be suckered into stuff when we feel that we have a friend who basically is probably not a friend, right? So okay, let's go next. Any guesses over here? Any guesses? Come on, at least we have 1 or 2 people winning today, because I'm cutting this off. Let's see. Am I cutting this off? I think this is the last one. This is the last one that I will be offering to pull the cards for the person if you guess. So we did have a few things over here. Oh, that was for the previous one. So we have Virgo. Anybody else? Let me have a sip of this coffee with a weird cream in it. That's Tiger disciplining matrix, I think. It's Safi. What happened? What did she do? What did she do? He went for grooming last week, and the groomer loves Tiger, and she gave him a bandana. And now I tried to remove this bandana from him, and he doesn't let me. And it looks really cool on him, so... Oh, that's interesting to see. So we have Libra, we have Virgo, we have also Libra here. Anybody else, guys? Because this is the last one I'm asking for today to do it. The next date will be on the 9th, and then we are not spending Easter together, and then we are connecting right after, so for the Earth Day. And oh, okay, this one doesn't count because we already did Aries, so we are still in the game. You are still in the game. And we have Libra. We have two winners. We have Kylie and we have Chris. So let's do that first, and then I'm going to pull this up. So you see, they threw their hat in the last moment, and that's all that matters. No, I don't think that Virgo was done. No, Virgo wasn't done. So let's go. Libra. Sorry, Chris, you're first, and you have 7 of Swords, and you have 3 of Wands. And this one also wanted to come through 10 of Wands. So there's a situation where somebody wants to take advantage of you of some sort. You will really go freely in that situation, and you might get suckered in, or it could be the opposite, where you're simply leaving some situation because you're saying, sorry, been there, done that, doesn't work for me, I don't want to care about it anymore, right? So the entire thing adds to your Scorpio. So we have 7 and 3 is like 10, and 10 is 20, and 20 represents judgment, and 20 represents release of some sort, maybe getting together, speaking your truth, and seeing if the person is receptive at this stage. It's really interesting because the 10 of Wands also talks about secrets, and it can be that you either hold secrets or somebody else did. It's also in this particular thing, it looks so kind of heartbreaking that, you know, so this person is pulling all the sticks, and we know this is hard and this is not the way to carry them, right? And hence you're blocking your way, creating hardship for no reason whatsoever. So is it important that we carry all this burden, or can we lighten the load and see what we can accomplish, even if it's less? Because look, this is all grabbed and something is out there. It's always going to feel like, well, you know what, no, I don't have 3 legs, I'm so sorry, and no, yeah, I just cannot run upstairs and downstairs. Like sometimes people ask impossible task of us, but clearly for you the situation is asking for that release, and release in a positive way, that you're just letting universe absorb that. And 3 of Wands also talks about moving forward, and look at how lovely this is. We do have a rainbow and we do have something moving forward, but 3 of Wands can also talk about journey and travel, especially something that is coastal or something that has a sea, right? It also is the card that generally talks about ships, partnership, relationship, friendship, right? It can have the kind of different things. And the second winner was, it was somebody else who guessed Libra. Oh, sorry, I thought that Chris was first. It was Kylie. Kylie, you're going second, but you guessed, and you're right, third time lucky. Kylie, you have Justice, Karma card coming through. And this is really important because you also guessed, oh my gosh, I'm having goosebumps right now. And these 3 also showed up here, but kind of like a lesser impact. You have the Hierophant, 8 of Wands, and 3 of Cups. So this is Libra, and this is Sagittarius, and this is some kind of like sense of justice, putting things in balance. Generally they don't show this Justice card with blindfold, and I don't know, I think she does look like she has a blindfold. I cannot make it, or it could be some mask, kind of like the blur for me. But look at this, is also 21. So not only are both of them karmic cards, but they also together create a third karmic card, which is in the hiding, the World. And the World will be very similar to the Wheel of Fortune, which kind of like things continuously work, and you are right now in a winning situation of some sort, Kylie. This is all excellent. I don't know if you're planning to marry, but there is like some kind of like morality involved, that you want to do things the right way. The things are going, because this clearly represents marriage. To me, this is a marriage card. This is expression of love, this is celebration, and this is happiness. So there's like nothing in this reading that would indicate any kind of hardship whatsoever. However, I need to say that things need to be done in a proper way. anything kind of like fluffy, extraordinary, kind of like anything that Uranus would affect would not work. So this is Venus principle. So beauty is cherished, justice is cherished, not only the people's justice but also the universal morality, if you wish. So things really need to be done in the right way. And 8 of Wands is something swift, something really happening really quick. So again, it could be some little bit of healing here. So that's the 11 and 16. 16 could a little bit of a tower moment. So let's say 26, 37. It's a new beginning of a sort. And certain things will need to be discussed, but overall this is lovely, lovely reading. And if you probably didn't see me shuffle in front of you, you would think that I'm setting up my own cards, which for the longest time people were accusing me of until I start shuffling it over there. So that's what it is. Is it? Wow. Thank you. Remember, guys, people say, don't you remember you predicted this? But I have to erase all of these readings in my head because otherwise I don't have such a memory storage in there. But I'm so glad that kind of like it really works. Usha, we did Leo reading already. If you go back to 1 hour 25 and 30, that's what Leo reading is. So yeah, Leo soulmate of some sort that I remember. So let's go with Libras over here. So that's a Barbie being Libra. So let me just see the timestamp over here. It's exactly on 2 hours, my dear Libra. And thank you guys for being patient. I know that monthlies take a little bit longer because I'm going to more details. And it's a little bit less fun, but you know, that's what monthlies are all about. But let's do it. Libra. And the last one, the penultimate, is actually here. I'm going to put it out. So let's start it. Libra. Oh, Usha, sorry to hear that. But you know, it's not much different than the rest of us. So request for reading of home, a job. You can go to my website and request the reading, or you can join in next time around when we kind of like you can actually have your own reading if you guess the sign. But I do not do the private things. Oh, that's right, Barbie. Good catch. We have the door, so just stay on. You'll be able to do that. Thank you, Barbie. Okay, so look at that. This was like all just coming through, Libra. This is you. So we have a 6 of Wands, we have the Empress, then we have the 4 of Wands, and then we have the 4 of Pentacles. So there's like something that is coming here very clear, that you have a need for stability, that you have a need for security. The Strength card is coming through these 2 4s, but it also comes control, that you really want to know where you are and what is going on. This is talking about a winning, and this is talking about feeling powerful, feeling comfort. You're very comfortable over here. This is still positive card, even though it's reversed, and it talks about gathering and celebration. And it's not something that is going to come to you as a surprise. It's going to be something that has been expected for quite a while, right? It's really interesting. We have the fire over here. We have you, the air, but it also contains a little bit of earth. So it's the Venus principle. But then we have the 4 of Pentacles. So it's almost like I had this image flashing through my eyes. And sometimes you know that I get this intuitive kind of like thoughts. It was the flower opening and then just like suddenly closing, and almost like if it's scared of something, and then this card came through. So it's going to be something that is going to happen. And Barbie, in your case, it could as well mean that the settlement is coming through, and then everybody is like almost like a vulture. They want to get a piece of it, and then you're basically telling them F off and closing the door to everybody. That's why the kitty. Hello. Do you love Barbie? Do you love Libras? Do you love everybody here on chat line? That's a hesitant yes. Yes, it's better. So this is kind of like a thing, like my box of toys is inside and I'm sitting on it. It's all mine. I'm not letting anybody else to use it. And it's typical, this cat face, kind of like what is not clear to you, kind of a thing, which is kind of like almost like looks like you will know how to react properly. However, there is a caveat with this card, and the caveat is be careful, because sometimes sharing works, sharing kind of like comes back to you, so you have to really use your judgment in that particular situation, right? So let's do this. Let's go control issues, and there are control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. So just go with the flow. And look at that, they're both separated. She has like this kind of like jug on her thing, so that means nourishment. It's very similar to the Empress, and she's like with a child, where he kind of like almost has the papers and controlling his hand, right? But they're both almost like polarizing over here, thinking probably in different directions, and there are like a whole bunch of people here that are part of that solution or part of that process over here that really happens. And you fell April 7th 2014. April 7th 2014. So what date is like 7 11 13 14 18 6 9 13 17, so it's not really coming to the same, but it's certainly very, very close. Next month, lawyer said. Ooh, so that's kind of like how it would look like here. This is a victory of some sort, so be careful about everybody trying to do that. Kylie, thank you so much, sweetie. Go to sleep. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a little bit longer, but we will talk to you soon. And let's see what gypsy cards you get here. You get soldier, you get scholar, and you get melody. So soldier is somebody who is very controlling, and they are telling you let go of control issues. So you need to really go with the flow in the situation and allow a lawyer to actually really work what it is. Maybe it is in your judgment, because you know your pain and everything that you've been through, that this is kind of like something that has to be pinpoint, but it looks like, and I'm not reading for you, Barbie, I'm literally reading for Libra, and just adding from what I know, somebody who is Libra here. So guys, if you're on guard with something, you need to let somebody who is well versed in the situation to help you out with. This might kind of like wear you out and drain you down. So be careful, do not lose sight on the fact that you still need to protect yourself, because this really tells me that you might just be like worn out in the very end, right? Simply from all this pressure, you're going to fall apart. So protect yourself, take appropriate vitamins, and so on and so forth, which is really, really important. From all these cards, to me, that soldier really stands out, because soldier is also somebody who keeps secrets, and this is kind of like that unknown that we are really talking about. And it can talk about hostility or defending somebody's honor, if you wish. And it's really hard to interpret this card, because I always have to take everything else in account. Overwhelming, this is a positive situation over here, I really have to say, but it does have caveats, but that's kind of like yin and yang always in life. So I would say the advice here for you, Libra, based on this configuration, is that when you're faced with opposition, you need to seek to resolve conflicts before they escalate. So don't allow this full-blown thing, because you don't have army or ability to deal with full-blown conflict. So you need to look to those who stand up for you for help. And we know this is the hardest thing. And for you, it looks like it's going to be some person who is highly educated, like all these books could be either a scholar, professor, or lawyer, or something like that. So, and allow them to deal that for you, which is going to be very important. So, let me do what lawyers do now. Oh my God, that's hilarious. You see, I should be using those words over here, but that's pretty much what I'm getting here as well. So, happening, Barbie. You'll need to crack the bottle of champagne when this happens. So, awesome. So guys, we do have two more, so that's why I'm not asking for you to guess, because we are down to Gemini and Virgo. So let's see which one will go first. Let me just remove this Libra over here. And the first one here is Gemini. So, Gemini, let me put your sign over here and the timestamp. So, Gemini, you already have one. Oof, the Tower. Oof, the World. Something collapses, falls apart in 1,000,001 pieces, and that resolves everything. That's kind of like how a quick and dirty explanation of this works right now. So the Tower is the situation that we face when we don't act in time, right? So you don't fix your brakes and then you have an accident. You don't put air in the tire, you have an accident. And then you have to deal now with much bigger issue than you would be dealing with earlier. So the Tower is also very often shift in attitude and shift in perspective, right? It's affecting everybody equally, as I was explaining earlier when the Tower show up. I don't know from which sign earlier, one of the first 2 or 3 signs. And it really tells us that we didn't have things built properly, that something from the very, very beginning didn't go right. So now it's telling us, look, I'm taking everything down. It's collapsing, it's not going forward, but it is allowing you to start all over properly. And that's kind of like it's confirmed in this world card, which is also karma card, meaning at this place in your life, this is where you need to be. And that's why this hourglass principle, right? So it's the full circle and it's restarting. It's almost like you just flipped it over and you can see the little drips coming through. The milk is dripping. So it could be the same situation repeating, that you are giving a second chance to kind of like work with it. Or it could be that you have ability to affect the situation or renegotiate a different deal of some sort, right? Or simply you're leaving everything behind, it's a new beginning. Whatever it is, you're really happy about everything. But also I have to tell you, this is a solo card. You are not bringing other people over here of some sort, right? Which is really, really important, right? So it kind of like talks about some kind of finality. If I even look at the numerology of it, we have a 6 and we have 3. So this is 9 and a 9, right? And even if I go with 9 and a 3, it's 12. It kind of like looks really passive, kind of like it's not asking of you to do lots of things. It's just telling you almost like this is what is happening. This is where you are. You go to a doctor, you're just sitting there and you're kind of like telling where on the continuum you are, all like, you know, your eyes got worse or got better. It's neither positive or negative, it's just as it is. We need to deal with this and kind of like correct it where we are. And that's the situation. So let me see. Right here we see unrequited love, and I'm having my left palm itching, which means I should be playing lottery today. Some money could be coming through. It says there is not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Are you guys involved in something where you're not cherished, appreciated? In that perspective, it would mean you need to renegotiate how things are going to work. And whenever we renegotiate, things might end up on us being on our own, right? That's possibility. But you need to be aware of this possibility and need to know that at this time this might be better for you, because look at that, this is somebody being perfectly happy in the situation. And this is also something that is really needed for us to be in a relationship, because if you can be happy on your own, why would you jeopardize that to be with somebody else who doesn't make you happy? And I don't really agree here with attraction or chemistry. It could mean it, but I sometimes see unrequited love sort of like a time-space continuum, that sometimes they're like missing each other, so hence it's not possibility to connect. Kind of a different possibilities looking in that direction as well. So we have a wife here, and we have a young woman here. So you might be dealing with your daughter, somebody's daughter, or a wife and a daughter. Maybe there's like some kind of like family issue as well, and somebody's stuck where they are. We have the prison. It's interesting card though. He's in a prison, he's chained, he's clearly nobility, but this vase is basically the key. It's almost like you either need to rub it or you need to get water from it or something here. Maybe the key is hiding here. Can he reach out for it? Can he realize it is there? Which I think in your situation maybe means that you want to stay somewhere where you really don't need to stay. So that is really something to mull it over. And there is a Sapphire, the third time coming through. Is it like, I mean, special luck for Gemini that you're bringing here, huh? Really? You're Aquarius. So maybe you had to go through some kind of like universal punishment. Maybe there was something that you didn't address, right? So like this card is connecting to this prison, in my opinion. It could be a couple, could be a woman and a child, it could be you that you're that woman and a child that is kind of like really affecting you here. I would just say that you are now being released from some kind of like confining circumstances or situation. So if you maybe suffered something that has been, let's say, closed-mindedness or prejudice or I don't know, negativity of some sort, regrets or possibly remorse, it could be also possible restraints that we are seeing here. Now that can be lifted, right? Now maybe something is a possibility. But on the other hand, right, this also could mean that there is like this solitude of some sort, suggesting an end of relationship. But this can also suggest, depending on how you resolve this Tower card, that's why this can be seen both ways, maybe ending some grave misunderstandings. So things kind of like move forward at this stage. So it's clearly everything talking about taking responsibility and acknowledging anything that you have been done wrongly, because that is setting you free, because that's what the Tower says. Now everything, like I mean, is back on in the beginning. Let's kind of like build it together properly as well. So Gemini, it's good, but you also have some work to do in the situation. No, anything, Yogi. Guess what is last? Virgo is last. So we are just moving into the Virgo, and I'm going to just pull it out. Boy, it was like really quick in and out. So this is the very last one. I don't know if you can see it. I'm pulling, and this one must be Virgo. And there it is. Virgo it is. So Virgo, and the doors will be last. So let me put it all back here. Tuck it away for the next time. So let's remove the stamps here. And Gemini, and both guys ruled with Mercury, and it looks like Mercury at a stage feels like, you know, I'm going to wait for the end of the reading and kind of like deal with that. Like nothing is really that crucial and nothing is really that important. So let me just put a timestamp here so I can later upload this. Okay. And let's go. Let's go. Virgo. 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 We only had 2 winners, Yogi, today, and these 2 winners were Kylie. She took off to sleep, and Chris. I think Chris has won before as well. So let's do that. Ooh, you guys have the Fool, a new beginning. You also have Queen of Cups, and you have 9 of Pentacles, which is really interesting. So now you have 3 elements. Whenever I see more elements than one, that's really good, because it's not just like one mono thing happening. There's like, I mean, more enriched kind of like level. Sometimes it's really beneficial that we only have one and you resolve it, you're done with it, especially for example when it comes to legal cases, etc. So This is very similar to the world card, as you can see, except here it's not in a circle that is repeating, so it's not repetition of this karma, it's rather initiating thought, right? So if you really read mythology and everything that's happening, the archetype of this card, it's really talking about inception point where you need to step over the edge. You need to put yourself in a zone that is not comfortable. You need to take this leap. So will you? I personally had lots of love-hate relationship with a sign, but this represents Uranus. Uranus is God, and Uranus was not a good god. Uranus was like a horrible, horrible god. And if you really think about the planet structure from astrology, so this is mythology, and then we're having astrology, and astrology is Uranus is flipped on the side and it spins in the opposite way. It's really awkward. It's not following any rules or any principles, and that's why kind of like things really happen how they happen, right? But nonetheless, so God is descending on this planet and trying to see how we do it here, how we work through this holodeck, and hence it's all about new chances. It's all about new beginnings. So let's take this at a face value kind of a thing. It's kind of like, how do we adjust these big ideas into the 3D universe? So it's saying to you, you need to, or you want to, or you will be fulfilled financially, fulfilled, yeah, financially as well, but emotionally. There's like some kind of like, this is the biggest cap in the entire deck, right? So, and it's the fish, it's over here. So it's kind of like receiving that unity, receiving this full balance. Something is really happening. You have people there who are willing to listen to you, who are your friends, and with whom you just really like to enjoy yourself, right? And then Nine of Pentacles, it is like sort of like, again, that space. I mean, first of all, this woman here, if it's a woman, attracts the partners like crazy, because people feel comfort and nurtured and heard, right? So if this is you, great. But if you're, let's say, male, or you want to attract female, then there's like somebody who is just like so amazing. But be careful, because that woman, or this person, I think it's a woman, is absolutely having this ability to give, but she is understanding that there is a limitation to it, because again, we are in this 3D world, right? And we have 0 and we have a 9. A 9 also has this hidden 0 in it with a little kind of spin, so hence it's unstable and it's finishing this whole cycle. So lots of things will be happening for you, my dear Virgo, in April. And it looks like to me that you would want to do things on your own, that you feel comfort in whatever it is, making a coffee in the morning, you know, reading your paper, doing things on your own. There's going to be that really beautiful structure that you have, and this is typically, to me, this is Virgo card here as well. So you are putting yourself out there. You are able to receive it, but maybe you're saying, you know what, maybe I'm not ready for something. So let's see what else we get over here for you. And we got this one, got 2. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. And we also get express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. So I'm seeing here Venus principles. So I'm seeing here Taurus, Libra. I'm also seeing water signs. I'm also seeing Aries. Just saying over here. Lots of water signs that maybe you're connecting with, but I'm seeing the other things as well. And let me see your gypsy cards. Gypsy cards. You have pleasure seekers. You have messenger. And you have conversation. What really stands out to me are the groups. So pleasure seekers, to me, especially when it reverses, it's not the most positive card. It would talk about people who are not sure. Sure, it can talk about a group of people who went out and had a great time, of course, but it is coming reversed, right? So to me, usually it talks about a third party or somebody being lured into situations where, you know, they do crappy things and so on and so forth, right? But where this reverses, to me, that talks about behavior that leads nowhere, or somebody who has significant, let's say, errors in judgment. It can talk it can talk about confusion as well, and maybe when this is referring to in which direction do I go, how do I start, and how do I stay optimistic, and then I don't know, this person is offering, but there is a history here and this history is not that great, right? It does warn you that it might be difficulties and defeat due to that unwise behavior, but maybe that's all that is needed and this point in your path, that you go in the direction in realization, okay, I explored this to the very end and now put a fork in me, I am done, kind of a thing, right? So advice on this card would be to access actions and behaviors, you know, don't listen to words, but kind of like see what they do in order to determine the underlying cause and to adjust in order to avoid a negative outcome. So this also, I have to say, would come somewhere to full fruition somewhere during the periods of your birthday, but is kind of like starting right now. So maybe it's going to be what they call it May, October relationship, or April, September in your case, right? So there is like some kind of a message, somebody is going to send you a note, you're going to get a text, you're going to get something, and then it's going to start conversation. And conversation can be that you're bouncing that ideas with a number of the other people, or that you're talking about this other person, about the other people that you already have in common, or maybe something is born out of the referral from these people who you have close to you. So that's the all signs read. We still have the second doors where you guys can ask your question for the second time. It cannot be the same as what you had. I hope you Virgos are alert that you can fully maximize this, because technically, even though I'm bringing caveats, this is a really good and positive reading. But now let's go and answer some questions. So let me put the stamp, and where did I put my pen? On my pen is here for the second part. Okay, and I'm just going to block it just in case the cards fly everywhere, because sometimes they do. And let's do this, and the door number one. The door number one. Okay, here. Door number two. And door number three. Let's go back. And let's see what you picked. Is anybody saying what you picked? If you say what you did, I can clarify on it, but otherwise I can only say in a very generic ways. So let's see the door number one, guys. If that's what you wished, you have 10 of Wands. Not everything that you want can be accomplished. This is really talking about you picking like less, putting less on your plate, and then it becomes doable. The way you are doing it right now would crush you. You might even succeed with this card. It's possible to go in that direction, but it's not going to bring you, I guess, the fulfillment of a sort. So kind of like be very careful about this. Very, very important, right? So then we have here Queen of Swords. And Queen of Swords, this is number two. This is a full yes. And this is like no BS situation. It has to be clear, and it has to be just black or white. It's not going to be negotiation of any sort. It has to be one way or the other. And Queen of Swords really knows what she wants. Somebody is so clear on it, it's going to be either take it or leave it. So keep this in mind, right? So should I give Matt a try? Number three. So you're saying, okay, needing your three. And number three is Knight of Pentacles. So Knight of Pentacles is a proverbial friend, but he's in a dark he's in a dark horse, which means it's unknown. So I would say this is more friendship card. So to answer your question, Barbie, I would say yes, but somebody will need to prove to you first that they're your friend before moving any further. But I can see that passion can develop here. So, and generic answer is it's yes, something is moving forward, and it has to be evolution. This is not going to be going from you turning white color into black by flipping black all over it. Like, as much as this situation didn't have a black and didn't have gray, this one is all gray, but it's going in a positive direction. It's going to be successful. So at least these are all upright. The last time we have them all kind of like in reversals or some kind of like weird things, but maybe toward the end, listening to me for 2.5 hours, you just wanted to have some kind of like lighter and more happy situations. So thank you guys so much. It's only 4 of you that are sticking with me this long. I know that I have to keep my readings under hour and a half, but this is monthly, and so hence it's exception. So let me see what is the time for the next month. So it's a 9th. We have the 9th, and then we have a 23rd. So on 23rd we are going to do monthlies, and on the night we are going to do kind of like simply picking up the energies, both for April and May, so that way you can get a little bit of a bigger picture there as well. So thank you everybody. Thank you Barbie for keeping us on track and everything. And guys, like, there's a link provided which is only for the moderators. My apologies, but moderators have been sticking around here for years right now, so they get to have the benefit of some extras. And it's kind of like also fun, since we are so close and we know each other, that we also exchange in a little bit off time our thoughts. Chris, you're invited, so you know. It would be nice to have a male approach and male things, but as a Scorpio you never know what he would feel like it. So love you all guys. Be good, and I will see you on the 9th next. I wish you all the best. Take care and enjoy your April. It looks like it's coming through. We all have good messages and we all have some kind of assignments to do, but overall it's going to be a really good month. Love you. All the best.